Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me here today for your tarot reading. I'm super excited for today's reading. Not only because, well, I'm not sure if you can see, but the candles are going wild, which to me means that Spirit is here, Spirit is ready to show up, but also because I had so much fun pulling each of your guys' cards for every single pile here. I think there's going to be a lot to tackle here. So why don't I just talk a little bit about what we're doing before I get too far ahead of myself? If you clicked on this video, you guys are probably my people who are ready for a change in your life. There's something that is calling you to change. There's something that you're ready to transform into. I feel like the collective, especially with the eclipses now in Aries and Libra, we are gearing up for a whole new season of life and change ahead of us. So I think this reading topic is going to be all about what is inside of you, what is the truth inside of you that Spirit thinks you are ready, or Spirit knows you are ready to embody. And it also could be kind of encouragement here today if there's something that you're wanting to pursue, a passion of yours that you're not sure, you're not confident in yourself that you're able to do this. I hope this reading is here to encourage you and to let you know that you are ready to take the next step, to take the next plunge, to realize the strength and the power inside of you. So if that sounds like something right up your alley, then I'm so glad you found us here today. I have 4 piles to choose from. So pile 1 is here, pile 2, pile 3, pile 4. I will have timestamps linked in the description, of course, so you can easily find your pile. But in order to select your pile, I thought it would be fun if we brought out the tarot deck that we're going to be using. Are we in focus? I think we're out of focus. Yeah. So this is the Prisma Visions Tarot. It has a sister deck. And I am going to pull 1 card for each pile, because I know some people really like visual identifiers, and that seems to help them when they are selecting a pile for a reading. So I figured, why not go ahead and do that? I'm just gonna do 1 shuffle because we're not like in the readings yet. But, okay, Spirit, for pile 1, what is pile 1's tarot card? Pile 1, Spirit. Okay, I'm going to take that. We've got pile 1, you guys got the Devil. It's got a lot of almost like autumn imagery. It reminds me of a cute little forest in autumn. What about pile 2, Spirit? What is pile 2's tarot card? It's thinking. It's thinking. What is pile? Okay. This is the one that popped up. We have pile 2. You guys got Temperance, and it kind of gives me like Tree of Life vibes. It's also got cups there, so some of you guys could be in your feelings about a situation, if that helps you. Pile 3, Spirit. That was quick. Okay. Oh. Pile 3, you guys got the Lovers. Look at that. They're like a masquerade couple, just kind of enjoying a little dance in the night. That's very beautiful. Okay. And it's funny, we've got all major arcana so far. So, pile 4, last but not least, there's a fuzz on the deck. Pile 4's, okay, and another major arcana. Pile 4, you got the Sun. I don't even really know how to describe this card. It's like the sun is bleeding in rainbow. You should see it on your screen right now. That's all I have for you guys. I'm going to leave you here for a couple seconds, but then I will meet you at your pile. Without further ado, I'll see you there. Bye, guys. Hello, Pile 1. Thanks so much for being here with me today for your reading. If you chose the Devil, then you made it to Pile 1. Thanks so much for being here. I'm going to go ahead and put that with the entire tarot. We're going to wait until later to do tarot. We're going to do oracle cards first, but the tarot we are using today is the Prisma Visions Tarot. I'm really excited to use this. I have an incense going right off to the side. But it's blowing right in my face, and I feel like it's gonna make me have to sneeze this entire reading, so I'm gonna try and move it. It might have to be a little bit in your reading for today, so sorry about that. But, without further ado, let's not waste time, let's not dilly-dally, let's go ahead and get into the oracle cards. Okay, so, oh yeah, I should probably explain what we're doing. So, your first couple cards, these two cards are going to be your current light energy and your current shadow energy and how that's showing up right now. So, for light, we have the swan. Not sure if you can see that. The swan. For your shadow energy, we have the tarantula. Tarantula. Then this card right here is going to represent the truth inside you that is ready to be realized. And we have total bliss, and she's like walking down the beach towards the sunset, I don't know, or sunrise, whatever you fancy. And then we have this card, and this is going to be representing why you are resistant to accepting this truth. And we have yerba mate or yerba mate. I'm not quite sure how to say that. I've never been sure. And I use my phone to record audio, so you're gonna have to bear with me here. And then this card is going to represent your life if you were to accept this truth. And we have the bee, and it says, don't drink all of life from one flower, for there are many to taste and many to explore. And I am going to have to move these to fit everything in frame. Kind of like this. Could probably move it like that. There we go. Okay. Okay, so here's how we're gonna start. We're just gonna start talking about your light and your shadow energy and how that's currently showing up. This is a group of people who are definitely on the verge of some sort of creative breakthrough or a breakthrough in their monetary life. Like a way of making money is coming to this group of people, or an answer to a prayer of wanting to build your finances that is finally coming. But, of course there's a but. Spirit is saying there's a but. It comes at you having to shed your old skin, but also to trust that there is even better at the other side of these hurdles. I'm sure you guys are incredibly artistic. You have a knack for making things beautiful, for making things stand out, for when people experience what it is that you make or create, it widens their perspective to ideas that they had never considered before. When people experience you, it's an expanding energy. It's like you're the type of person that draws attention. You're the type of person who stands out in a room. That's why your creations stand out. Because it's so uniquely you. People can see you through your creations. It's like you're the signature in whatever you do here. People are just drawn to you because you have that light inside. When you're expressing your light energy, you're not only creative, but you're also very self-loving. You're healing. You're in a very healing energy. A very pampering energy. You take very good care of yourself, and people can sense that on you. And it makes them want to take better care of themselves too. I'm also, you guys could be a foodie. I'm hearing foodie, or I'm like seeing french fries or something like that. People want to enjoy life's luxuries around you. They feel very luxurious around you, or they feel like you live a luxurious life, and to be around you is a luxury. People might struggle with putting you on a pedestal, and you might struggle with finding people who see you as a human, and you're like, I'm not superhuman, I don't have these extraordinary abilities, I'm not able to do more than people, I'm just dedicated, and I'm able to put my mind to whatever I'm focused on. And everyone else has this capability too. I just wish they would actualize it. I feel like you guys have that a lot in your life. But in your shadow energy, there's this fear. There's this feeling of feeling so much smaller than you actually are. Feeling very vulnerable. Like the slightest touch, the slightest movement could get you squished. Like you're this tiny little bug. You guys over-intellectualized your creations. Like, maybe you've had a lot of very harsh critics or harsh teachers in your past who have had a bone to pick with you, and no matter what you did, it just was never enough for them. And it's okay. It's time for you to forgive yourself and forgive them for the past, and to let it go and realize that that doesn't have to carry on with you throughout the rest of your life. You can change the story and you can flip the script. Because let's talk a little bit about what is a truth inside of you that is ready to be actualized. It's this total bliss. And what is total bliss? I personally feel like total bliss is this trust, peace, and love all at once in the universe or in whatever brings you those emotions. But most importantly, it's a feeling that you create for yourself because you're in charge of your emotions. And I think once you realize that you are able to set boundaries, you are able to empower yourself to a place where you're always constantly able to create, and you're not putting yourself down, you're not stuck with this voice in the back of your mind that you are less than, or that you are a little bug. Once you realize that you are the one who brings yourself this total bliss, it's gonna be really hard to I don't want to say knock you off your high horse, but it's going to be hard to shake the foundation that you've laid for yourself, because if internally you can create a space that brings you peace, where the voice inside of you who speaks to you all the time is kind and understanding and empathetic, when you have built a fortress inside of you that doesn't rely on anyone else behaving in any way, when you are fully self-sufficient inside, not saying that we don't need people, of course we need people to guide us here, sometimes we need tarot readings, sometimes we need our family, friends, but when we can get to a place where our fortress inside is unshakable, where we know we will always have our own back, that is when that total bliss comes to you, because you're not relying on the outside world, you're not relying on the outside forces to take care of you. You have your own back. And I think right now you're just scared of stepping into that, because it does take vulnerability to realize I have to have my own back right now, or it takes vulnerability to realize, like, I am strong enough to have my own back. I don't need other people, because then it's like, well, goodness, my whole life I've thought I've needed people, but was it all a lie? And it's like, no, it's not a lie. We all need people, but I feel like I'm over-explaining, and I think you get it by now. I think something that's blocking you from this is this worry that if you step into this self-independence that you're going to lose connection in your life. I think you're worried that your relationships, be it friendships, family, whatever type of bond that you have with people, I think you're just worried that those are going to lessen and you're not going to be as close the more you step into this self-empowerment, the more you do things for yourself, the less you rely on other people. And I think Spirit is coming through to say, it's like, people admire strength. People admire people who don't rely on other people to tell them who they are. People love kindness. People love when people are who they say they are and who aren't afraid to step out and be bold and to love themselves when maybe no one else will. I think your relationships would get stronger and your relationships would actually love the new you that you become whenever you are more self-sufficient, when you're not as codependent on other people's feelings, thoughts, beliefs. Maybe you're the type who overwatches tarot readings, and don't worry, we've all been there. But maybe you're the type who's just guilty of hyper checking in on someone, you know? And it's okay to give them space to breathe, and it's healthy to give them space to breathe, and it's healthy to have time alone to explore who you are without anyone else. Because the stronger foundation you have in yourself, the easier it is to set boundaries with other people, which means the easier it is to find people who can actually respect you and treat you well, and who understand you and love you for who you are, not for who you pretend to be to keep them around, you know? A lot of your issues would be solved if you realize, like, the people who leave based around this new you're becoming were probably not meant to be there in the first place, because this new you're becoming is more self-empowered, healthier, self-loving, compassionate. Like, there's nothing wrong with the new you're becoming. And I think you just need to honor that truth within you and be ready to receive this total bliss that you deserve. With the B, it says, "Don't drink all of life from one flower, for there are many to taste and many to explore." And I think what this is saying about your life, if you embrace this self-acceptance here, I think you guys might realize that you actually like spending time with people, or you're actually a lot more extroverted than you once thought you were. The more confident you are in yourself, the more you might want to go out on the town and strut your stuff. And that's not to say you're going to have an immediate breakup with anyone, or you're ever going to have a breakup with anyone. But I'm just saying, like, you're going to be ready to adapt into this queen bee persona that we've got here, you know? She is queen bee. And it's time for you to put yourself on top and to feel what that feels like, and to see how your life can shift when you're accepting the people who accept you for who you truly are. And that takes self-acceptance too. And you're mastering both worlds right now, you know? And I think I'm just here to say it's gonna be okay. And it's time for you to experience the life you've always wanted, but it comes at a cost of your old life, you know? And you are brave enough to let go of your old life. And it doesn't mean you have to make rash decisions about anything, but it's just to take on this new attitude, as long as you're not deliberately unjustly hurting anyone. And honestly, I don't encourage hurting anyone anyway. I think we should just let the universe handle it. But, you know, you do you, boo. As long as we're not hurting anyone, do you, and see who sticks around, see what sticks around, see where the world takes you. Let's go ahead and dive into tarot. I feel like that has been a good little bit of the reading so far. Let me know if this is resonating. I love reading comments. They're probably one of my favorite things to read. My favorite way to, like, just interact with anyone who watches my videos, in all honesty. We're gonna do a couple shuffles. Whee! how's your day been? What's the weather like where you live? Where I live, it's been pretty gloomy and overcast today. I'm not sure if it's gonna snow today. I live in the northern hemisphere, so it's winter here. But, wait, hold on. So, the book for these cards, and I'll have all the decks linked down below, but the books for these cards have questions to go along, and I thought, why not just ask for the tarot, ask that question, and hopefully it works with you. So for your guys' card, I hope you're understanding what I'm saying. My throat chakra has kind of been blocked a lot recently, but instead of just ignoring the problem and pretending it's not there and hoping it goes away, I'm just gonna power through it, and my readings might be all over the place, but we're gonna wing it. But anyway, your card says, how can I celebrate my inner child more? So that is what we are going to ask your spirit guides. So spirit guides of pile 1, how can they celebrate their inner child more? How can they celebrate their inner child more, Spirit? I'm only taking uprights. I should have said that before. We've got the Magician and we've got the World. Let me make sure you can see that. How can pile 1 celebrate their inner child more? Okay. We've got the Knight of Chalices. I'm being shown a scene from Sex Education where it's like, if some of you guys have been in a really unhappy marriage, and I'm talking real unhappy, and I'm talking the level unhappy of like Sex Education when I'm forgetting names. I'm so bad at names, but when the guy principal in Sex Education, his wife like leaves him, I got shown a picture of that. So some of you guys might be leaving someone you love very much, but someone who's just very selfish and is kind of their way or the hideaway and not willing to change or see from your perspective. Some of you guys are getting really strong with your boundaries there and might be teaching them a lesson. In the end of this series, they ended up, I believe they ended up staying together. I haven't finished season 4 yet, but yeah, I'm pretty sure they ended up getting back together, and it was really great. Anyway, last little bit. How can they honor their inner child? How can pile 1? I'm taking that, the Sun. Okay. Some of you guys might be called to travel or go on some sort of solo trip soon. I'm seeing that with the World. I feel like you guys just need a break from other people and maybe a chance to see how travel could be without anyone else interrupting you. See where you would be brought. Like, I just feel like some of you guys haven't had a solo trip in a really long time, and a solo trip would show you that you actually enjoy things a lot more than you thought you did, and it was actually just the company you had with you that made you not enjoy things. Like maybe hiking. Maybe you had a hiking partner that you just got really annoyed by for a really long time, and you thought it was hiking that you didn't actually enjoy, but actually you go on a hike soon and you realize, oh, I actually do like hiking, I just maybe don't necessarily like the company of this person as often, and then you can reevaluate your boundaries with them. The other thing is, I feel like this sense of magic is going to be reintroduced into your life. I feel like you're so used to things not going your way that you've kind of lost sight in fairy tales and happily ever after, and I think someone or something is gonna happen or come into your life in a way that is so serendipitous, and it kind of sparks this total bliss feeling, and you're like, oh my gosh, maybe I can cultivate this feeling for myself, and I think it's gonna spark an adventure. I just keep being shown this adventure of passion and light. I feel like you guys are being drawn like a moth to a flame. You're just being drawn to a better life and a happier life. I think you're realizing that the right that you have as a human being is to be happy. And if you're not happy, then why are you doing anything if you're not happy? I mean, I get it if you're making yourself unhappy for a little while to get through a hard time. That's totally justifiable, and you go girl. You go girl, you go guy, you go they, them. All my peeps. But if you are in this spot where you've just prolonged your misery for far too long, I think it's time to cut it off and to experience what true light and bliss feels like. And I think that will be very nourishing to your inner child, because maybe you guys are the type where you've had to grow up a lot quicker than a lot of other people. You've had a lot of burdens or responsibilities kind of thrown at you, or like thrown on your shoulders without much of asking you, you know? And you just kind of expected that this is your responsibility. And I think the script is now being flipped to where you're like, you know what? No, it's not my responsibility. I actually don't like doing this, and I'm allowed to not like doing this, and I'm allowed to put boundaries up. And if you don't like that, then sucks to suck, because I like it. It makes me happy, you know? Those are things you're allowed to do. Okay, pile one. Let's go ahead and pull out your final advice cards. Where are they? We're going to be using the tea leaf tarot, or not tarot, oracle. And we're just going to pull 3, so ASMR. I can't get a hold of it. Okay. We've got 2. We've got rabbit, too much concern with sexual matters. Okay, sorry. The video cut off there, but we've got the rabbit with too much concern with sexual matters. Too much concern with sexual matters. I don't know if that can even see it. Then we've got ear, good news. Good news. And we'll choose one more. ASMR again. Okay. And then we've got money path. A path with money is waiting for you to find it. Very cool. So, I think you guys definitely have some good news on the way to you. I feel like if some of you guys, because I'm being brought to that scene in sex education too. So, if some of you guys are worried if it's been a really long time since you've had intimacy, if parts still work, parts can still work, even if it's been a really long time. I just felt called to say that because that's the message that is being brought to me. Anyway, definitely some good news on the way to you guys, and yeah, money is on the way to you guys. If that's what you need to get out of a really hard situation, that's coming to you. Or if you're just wanting to make more money just because you want to be a boss babe, it's on its way to you guys. So, okay, pile 1, that's all I have for you. I hope this resonated. If it did, feel free to give me a like, subscribe, or comment. I love reading comments, and I would love to have you join the Meliela Tarot family at any time, because we love you over here. Anyway, I suck at wrapping these up. I really should get a little slogan or something, but I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye! Hello, Pile 2. Thanks so much for being here with me today for your reading. If you chose Pile 2 with the Temperance card, then that's how you know you made it to Pile 2. I'm going to go ahead and take that card and put it with our tarot. I'm not sure if I said it in the intro or not, but today we're using the Prisma Visions tarot. Love this tarot. I thought it was beautiful, and I thought it would go along with today's reading. So, not much dilly-dallying. We're gonna go ahead and get started. So we're gonna do oracle cards first, and then we're gonna get into tarot. Your first couple cards are going to represent your current light and your current shadow energy. So for your light energy, we have the bat. For your current shadow energy, we have the eagle. I'm sorry if if this isn't focusing. I'm on the floor and the viewfinder is very far away. You're gonna have to bear with me here. Then, this is going to represent the truth inside you that is ready to be accepted. We have nurture yourself. Nurture yourself. Put it like that. Then, this card is going to represent why you might be hesitant to accept the truth and to embody it. And we have lemongrass with growth, psychic ability, expanding horizons. I love the smell of lemongrass. I'm pretty sure that's what we're using right now. Let me check. No, sorry, we're using sage and citrus right now. Let me move these so you can see. And then this card is going to be how your life will change / how it can look when you accept this truth. And this says morning dew. It says, what stillness does the silence of one's steadiness bring? Very pretty. Okay. So this is a group of people who I feel might have a bit of a perfectionistic energy to them, or someone who has struggled with perfectionism in the past, because when you're in your light energy, let's talk about the bad energy. And what's interesting, I do actually want to talk about this before we get too far deep. Your light and your shadow energy are coming out in air signs. So it's like, while there are differences between your light and shadow energy, you're sharing the same sign. So it's not like you're completely disconnected from self. I feel like there are two parts of self that are struggling to be accepted and emerging here. Like, two parts of self trying to be accepted as truth, but they're contradicting each other, if that makes sense. So I know that was like that's a lot to digest in like the first 10 seconds of your reading. Anyway, when you're in your light energy, I feel like you're ready to accept what is here to stay, and you're ready to let go of what no longer serves you. But when you're in your shadow energy, this controlling nature comes out in you, where you want to be able to predict the next outcome, and it's because you want to stay safe. You guys might have been the type who gave your power away a lot when you were younger, or just before you knew a little bit better, and now you're no longer as self-sacrificing, and you've really built a backbone for yourself, and you no longer you never want to sacrifice that confidence that you built for yourself for the sake of anyone else. But you also don't want to let go of the fact that you can't control life, and you can't control what other people do. You can't control how other people react to situations. You can't control what life throws at you. You can only control how you react, what you think, how you feel things, when you feel things, if you feel things. Like, all you can control is yourself. And I think this group might be struggling with that right now, because I feel like you're the type who, if you're presented with things that aren't working for you, you're the type to fix it immediately. Like, if someone pointed out to you, hey, you keep talking about how you want to be healthier, and yet you keep ordering food and you don't go to the gym, maybe you should no longer complain about that and maybe do something. Like, if someone presented that to you, you'd be the type to be like, oh my gosh, you're absolutely right, and you'd instantly make the switch. But then when other people are presented with similar information about themselves, you might expect them to immediately make this switch too, but they don't, and it gets under your skin, and you're like, if they would only do this, like, their life would be so much better. And it comes down to the fact of you're learning the lesson that you have no control over other people, and you have to evaluate within yourself whether you want to have them in your life or whether you want to let them go. I'm kind of getting this sense of you guys are debating whether you want to keep someone in your life or whether you want to let them go. And I think the truth of the matter here is, if you are constantly asking someone to be someone they're not, or to show up as someone else, that just proves that maybe you really don't like them as much as you thought you did. And that's a hard and a harsh realization at the same time, and it comes down to the fact of whether you want to see this through, whether you unconditionally love them, if you can get through this hurdle with them, or if this is a hurdle, or whether you truly love them as a whole. Maybe they will never change. That's something you have to consider too. That's why you have to consider someone as a whole here. But I think this is a situation where someone has time and time again not changed their behavior, has shown you over and over who they are, what they're gonna do when they're faced with something that you maybe don't appreciate or doesn't make you feel respected or listened to. That's where it comes the time where, and I think this is the truth that we are getting at here, I think it's time for you to realize that you have to be the one to meet your own needs, and if someone is dragging you down right now, maybe it's time to put some space in between you two so that you can focus on your needs, and until that person can show you that they can meet you where you are at, or that they have changed or have done these things that you guys have discussed, like, and until then, you have to be in charge of your own life, and you have to be in charge of your own happiness, and it's time for you to grab life, if you know what I mean, and to take charge, and to realize that you can be happy without other people doing what you need them to. Your happiness shouldn't come down to whether Barbara remembered to empty the coffee pot yesterday. It can be annoying, but that's where we have to become the masters of our emotions and the masters of our fate, because if we let little things like that control us all the time, and we continue to not do something about it, maybe, you know, we accept Barbara's behavior and we just accept that we are going to be the one to empty the coffee pot from now on, and we're fine with that. If that's your decision, cool. You have to be cool with that, and that has to work for you. But maybe your decision is, if it's your coffee pot, maybe you bring the coffee pot home and you say, nope, no one's allowed to use it anymore because I feel like my property is not being respected how I've told people to. That's a decision that you have to make yourself, and you have to do it in a way that will honor yourself, that nurtures yourself, that puts you first. Because when you're putting yourself first, that's when the people who love you, who will love you, who respect you, are going to come flooding in. Those are the people, when you're nurturing yourself and you're feeling number one, and you're feeling like Barbie dream girl princess, or whatever makes you feel number one, you know, that's when the people, your soul family, come along. Because you don't need anyone. You're not relying on anyone else. And that's when all the people who are just like you, who aren't relying on anyone, but who are open to connection and who are open to the highest love of all, that's when you can find each other. I think the reason you're so resistant to this, and the reason you're just resistant to honestly stepping into the final stage of independent energy, is you're worried of outgrowing people who you love. And that is something that is really, really hard. And I might not have the answer for you, and I might not have the most comforting messages for you, because I'm also human, and maybe I'm also going through similar experiences, and I still don't have the answers for myself, It's hard when people outgrow us and when we outgrow other people. But I think that's when it comes down to this spiritual lesson of, we're never disconnected from people, because if I can sit here and connect to spirit, you can sit there and connect to a loved one. I can do the same thing. Like, I can miss people's 3D experience. I can miss, forming new memories with them, but their memory lives on within me. And maybe one day I'll reunite with them. Maybe it'll be on this plane, maybe not. Maybe in this lifetime, maybe not. But you have to have this trust that everything is going to work out in the best way for you, as long as you are constantly searching for that best you and that best life. As you're pushing yourself to become the best you, when you're constantly finding that adventure and that newness, it will find you. Things will work out. And it's okay to have that fear. It's okay to honor that fear and to cry and to be scared and even to be mad. That's totally normal too. But I think the only thing you're doing by holding yourself back to wait for other people to catch up is stunting your growth. And you never know. Gosh, the thing that I've been grappling with lately is, like, you never know when your current 3D experience is gonna stop, or when it's gonna abruptly change. And I think the most important thing is to enjoy what you're experiencing, because all you have is right here and now. The future is ever changing. The past can't ever be changed. You have control of right now. And if you're stunting yourself right now, well, that's obviously going to affect your future. But think about your future self looking back. They can't change that past. Is that the past you want to leave for your future self? Is that what you want to experience right now, deep down? Or do you want to grow? Do you want to evolve? Do you want to change? And do you want to accept the people who accept you for that? Who are inspired by that, who take their life in their hands because they see you doing it. Sometimes you have to be the inspiration, and sometimes other people inspire you. And it's up to you to decide when you're ready. And it might be a slow climb, but just trust that you'll get there and that it's possible. As far as morning dew with, oh, that's a nail. As far as morning dew with how your life can change if you accept this truth, do right now, do right now what honors you. If that's stillness, if you're not ready to make a decision or to honor these truths, that's okay too. Throw everything I just said out the window. Honor and nurture yourself. It's okay to have two truths at the same time. Maybe you need to let something go. Maybe you need to leave something. But maybe it's not time. You're not ready. That's okay. But it's about being open to this change. And to be okay with stillness and to let go of control. To let people be who they are. That way you can honor yourself more, because the more that you meet people for where they are and you just understand that maybe you're different, the more you can have compassion for yourself. And the more when people show you like that they don't honor you for who you are, that's when you can show them the door, because you're like, okay, but I honor some people, so leave me alone, because I would honor you if you're a little different. It's up to you. I think your life, when you're not focusing on other people, when you're only focusing on you, it's a lot quieter, it's a lot simpler, but it's also peaceful. You're not worried about whether someone did the dishes on time. You're safe because you've got yourself, and you're taking care of yourself. When you rely on yourself, when you know you got yourself, that's when you can really start defrosting your personality and becoming who it is you truly are and honoring who it is you truly are. Because who you are deserves to be honored and deserves to be respected and deserves to be loved. And you will absolutely find people who honor and respect that. But you've got to learn to let go of the people you can't control and the people who might not ever change. And maybe you leaving them is the thing that makes them change. Who knows? That's up to you to decide and to see whether you value this person enough or not to keep in your life. That's completely up to you to decide. That's not me or anyone else's job. But the way you will find that answer is by honoring you and letting go of control of other people and releasing other people's control over your life. Okay, let's move on to tarot since we're already like 20 minutes in. I hope this is resonating. If it is, feel free to give me a like. Feel free to leave me comments too. That's my favorite way of interacting with everyone. I love reading comments, and I hope you're doing well. What's the weather like? I've been asking everyone what the weather's like where they live right now when you're viewing this. Currently, I live in the northern hemisphere, and it is winter, so it's pretty dull and gloomy outside. It's probably gonna snow either tonight or soon, because it's just been really cloudy recently. But yeah, not much to complain about. I've been having a nice day off work, just doing some tarot readings and cleaning and hanging out, eating some good food. But, okay. So, I've been asking for the tarot portion, I've been asking each group the question that coincides with their individual lesson card. So, let's see where Nurture Yourself is. Nectars of Life. Nurture Yourself, 118. Nurture Yourself is, how can I carve out more time for my own healthy routines? I think that's a great thing to ask a tarot. So I'll have to keep that question nearby because I'm going to forget it. How can Pile 2 carve out more time for their own healthy routines? Okay, I'm only taking uprights, so we've got the 8 of Swords, we've got the 3 of Wands, we've got the 10 of Swords, the 6 of Pentacles, and the 10 of Wands. Interesting, okay. Lots of 10s. I say lots, there's 2. I feel like that's significant, though. I think you guys are definitely in an endings period or an endings point in your life where a lot of things are no longer going to be the same either next year or like this new phase that you're going in. You're not leaving unscathed is something I'm hearing. Like this period of your life might be difficult, or what you've currently been going through is very difficult. Things are going to be different, but that doesn't mean it's going to be bad, is what I'm hearing. Is like this change right now is incredibly difficult because I feel that you guys have such a tight grip on life right now and you don't want to trust Spirit, but Spirit is saying, oh, you guys can't even see the cards. Spirit is saying, once you release control and give it over to me and like let us have the control over your life and trust that we will make sure that your life is how you want it. It doesn't mean you have to stop putting in work, but it's just release the control, release the idea that you have full control over your life, release the idea that you got yourself here because it's all you're doing. No, that's absolutely not true either. Release the burdens and take a big deep breath right now. Let's do it. Let's do in and out and in and out, and in, and out. Release the pent-up anxiety. Do some breathing exercises. Maybe going to the gym would help a lot too. Just getting out this pent-up energy. Focus on you, but not to a point where you're shaming yourself. Do it in a way that's collaborative. Some of you guys could take up teaching. That could be a helpful routine to you right now, is teaching someone who wants to listen. The other thing is become a student. That's a good way to release control. Become a student. Try to learn something new. And break out of barriers right now that keep you small. Don't let anything keep you small right now. Don't get in the habit of being told you're too much. Don't get in the habit of thinking that you need to change. You are good who you are. Change what you want. You are good who you are. You are perfectly acceptable, but change what you want. Don't feel like you have to. Okay. Pile 3. Let's go ahead and pull out some final messages with the tea leaves. So we're gonna, I've been doing ASMR for the tea leaves. If you have a specific question, now's a good time to ask it. And there we go. Okay. So we've got ladder, climbing towards success. Yeah, you guys are definitely on the road towards success. Nothing is going to get in your way. Time to go out and have fun. Grapes. Yeah, you guys have been way too hard on yourself recently. Have fun and don't focus on controlling life. Experience life right now. And then we have fair woman. Dealings a relationship with a fair woman with blonde, gray, or white hair. Someone with these features could be good to go out and have fun with, or someone with those features could be significant right now to this reading if you had a specific question about them. But without further ado, that's all I have for you, pile 2. I hope you have a wonderful day. Please take care of yourselves, nurture yourself. But thank you for being here. Bye, pile 2. Hello, pile 3. Thanks so much for being here with me. If you chose pile 3 with the lovers, then that's how you know you made it to pile 3. You are at the right pile. I'm going to go ahead and take this card and put it with our tarot deck, the Prisma Visions Tarot, but we're going to save this till a little later in the reading. Let's not spend a whole bunch of time talking about what we're doing. Let's go ahead and get into it. So these first 2 oracle cards, if I can grab it, are going to represent your current light energy and your current shadow energy. So for your current light, we have the fish. Very cute. And your current shadow, we have the whale. Have any of you guys actually seen The Whale, the movie that came out this year? So good. I saw it earlier this spring, and I was sobbing, but it's so good. This card right here is going to represent the truth inside of you that is ready to be accepted, and we have Temple of Light. I'm not sure if you can see that. Temple of Light. This card here is going to represent a reason why you might be resisting accepting this truth inside of you. And we have Lemon Balm that says attraction, friendship, and success. And last but not least, this card is going to represent what your life can look like once you accept this truth. And we have Rowan, number 34, that says, there is no need to fear, dear one. Protected you are, and protected you always will be. It's very cute. Cute little card. Let's talk a little bit about your light and shadow energy right now, because they're both being represented by water animals, or the sign of water. So you could be dealing with your emotional world or your internal world right now. But mainly what this is telling me, similar to pile 2, because pile 2 started out with 2 air energy cards, And essentially what I told pile 2 is when I see that happening, it signals to me that there are two parts of oneself that you're kind of having this tug of war energy with, where you feel as though one of the two halves are allowed to be present, but actually it's both. And we're going to dissect more. But Spirit is kind of coming through and saying, like, there is a third option, there is a third way, so that both of these sides of you can be present and cohesive and things can work together. You just haven't quite figured it out yet, and hopefully maybe this tarot reading will help you figure it out. When you're in your light energy pile 3, you guys are my Energizer bunnies. You guys are the ones who are just constantly going from one thing to the other. You probably don't leave a lot of room for you to actually think and breathe. I'm kind of thinking of like salmon season, where the salmon are trying to move upstream in order to lay their eggs and enjoy. Is it the summer or the fall that they enjoy after they lay their eggs? I don't even know. But I'm thinking of that journey they make and how relentless and restless they are until they make it where they need to go. I feel like you guys are kind of tunnel visioned right now when it comes to something you want to achieve or some sort of breakthrough that you're really close to. And I feel like this group of people, when you're energized and rested and you've kind of taken care of your basic needs, you're like lightning. You just strike and people sit around and they're like, ooh, and they and they're just so attracted to the sheer energetic force that you guys are and the energy that you bring. You guys probably travel a lot for work, or if you're watching it at the time that it's being posted, you're traveling a lot during the holidays, or just traveling a lot in general right now. You do kind of seem a bit like a busy bee right now, but it's with a purpose. I think you guys are very successful when it comes to surface level connections, or you just might do very well in the business sector or sphere of the world. Something where it doesn't rely on emotions or how you make people feel. It's just kind of at face value, and it comes down to just straight up the work that you produce. There's no hidden agenda or something like that. You guys just kind of have that energy of like, let my work speak for itself. And I also heard like it's a doggy dog world, and I don't know about that. Maybe that'll pop up later. But I do feel like this group is just the type who's very A+ on paper. You enjoy being that way. You enjoy putting your best foot forward and kind of having all of your responsibilities in order. You enjoy being the responsible one, the one people can rely on. Maybe you feel joy when you're overburdened or when you take on most of the responsibility in a group. Like you get some weird enjoyment from suffering. But now let's talk about the whale energy for a little bit here. Your current shadow energy is really heavy, and I wouldn't be surprised if you feel kind of not yourself recently, or you feel a little weighed down. Maybe you guys are experiencing a bit of depression or some bumps in the road when it comes to your mental health right now. The most important thing here is to not get on yourself for having to be slower right now, or not being able to show up 110%, because your current shadow energy is dealing with a lot, and I feel like you're the type of people who want to avoid deep emotional issues because you're just like, let my 3D experience do the talking for me. I don't want to feel my feelings, I don't want to talk about feelings. But unfortunately, in your shadow energy, it's gotten to this point where it's kind of bubbling up to the surface, and you're realizing emotions are important, and there's a reason people tell you to feel your feelings and to not over intellectualize them, because I think your brain has done enough. Your brain has kind of gotten you into this place where you're like, okay, I understand way too much about my emotions, I'm way too self-aware, but I still feel like crud some of the times. And I think it's because you guys have done everything well on paper. You've read the self-help books, you've gone to therapy, you've sat with yourself spiritually, you've done solo trips, you've done all of the things that say on paper that you should be feeling well, but I think you're realizing that not everything is by the book. Not everything can be solved the ways that 110 other people have done it. Sometimes healing has to be very unique and individual to you in order for it to work. And I think you're getting to a point here where you're going to have to sit with yourself and face those uncomfortable emotions and face parts of yourself that you've been trying to keep hidden. Is there a part of yourself who actually longs for deep connection, who longs to be vulnerable with someone, who wants to have that spiritual love that no one else has, and it can be just you two? There are feelings and emotions bubbling up inside of you that have had to stay hidden, maybe to fit in with the people around you, or maybe just to survive. Like you had to become something you're not, or someone who is only half of who you truly are in order to fit in. And now you don't have to do that anymore. And it's time to face those times where people told you you weren't enough. It's time to face your shadow self and to realize that there's nothing wrong with you. Every facet and part of who you are is wonderful and should be celebrated. And I'm so sorry that people maybe weren't the kindest and didn't treat you with the respect that you deserved at the time. But right now you're safe, and there are people around you who want to take care of you and who can meet you where you need to be met. It's time for you to actually internalize all of the healing work that you've been told about, everything that you've learned about. It's time to internalize that, and how to internalize that is by feeling. I think the truth inside you that you're recognizing is this fact that you are ever evolving, ever changing, and new parts of yourself are ready to be discovered. I think it's time for you to realize that it's good to change, it's good to explore newness. Sometimes what's best for your soul is to go off the beaten path and to make one for yourself. And I think that comes with a sense of honoring yourself and knowing yourself. And I think that's also what you're trying to cultivate here, is this newfound sense of self-enjoyment. I think you've worked really hard to be a pleasure to everyone around you, but you haven't really done the work to find what makes you happy and what pleases you. And that's where you're falling short here, is your batteries aren't being charged because you aren't actually filling your cup how you need to be filled up. Because you're doing all the things that other people are saying you should do, but you're not actually seeing and checking in if they're actually helping you. And now's the time to check in and to realize that you deserve to feel happy, you deserve to feel light, you don't need to be weighed down all of the time. That's not an inherent thing that you are worthy of. Like, you don't deserve to sit in doom and gloom all of the time. That's not something that you deserve. And I'm sorry if you've been made to feel that that's a feeling that you deserve. Humans inherently deserve to be happy. That is what we are here to do, is to be happy and to spread love. And I think that starts with honoring your needs and putting yourself first in whatever way that looks or takes form. I think you're realizing there's more than just the surface level, and it's okay to explore the depths beyond and to lift the veil and see things that are different than what you've always been told. It's time to carve out what life means to you and to form your own opinions about things instead of what people have told you. It's time to realize that you are an individual human being who is capable of so many thoughts, feelings, and unique experiences, and that your perspective matters. Your unique perspective absolutely matters. I think a reason you've been hesitant to accepting this truth is leaving the tried and true methods and maybe deviating from the path has you scared of losing any sort of success that you built for yourself. I feel like you have this ingrained in you of like, I had to do this in order to be successful, so if I stop doing it, everything's gonna go out the window. I'm gonna lose my friends. I'm not gonna be as attracted to people. Like, if I put myself first and put people's wants, needs, and desires on the back burner, that's gonna make people hate me. And it's like, maybe some people aren't meant to go with you on this path, and that's one way to figure out that they're not for you. But I think Spirit is trying to show you that success and abundance can be found in multiple different areas, multiple different sectors of life. It's just about being open to receiving different forms of love and happiness. You've been brought to this path for a reason. You've been curious about this path for a reason. It's time to honor yourself for once and to honor where you're being led. Because Spirit doesn't want to lead you down a path of cruelty and abuse. That is absolutely not what Spirit wants for you at all. And I think once you realize the deviation between light and dark within you, it's going to be a lot easier to trust those light and dark energies outside of you. I think your life could look a lot simpler. I think you guys right now kind of pride yourself on a simple life or enjoying the simple pleasures of life, but you don't realize how complicated things actually are for you right now because of this lack of openness to feeling. And I think Spirit is trying to show you that you are protected, but they can't show you that you're protected until you trust them and give them room to do their job. And I think once you take this leap and practice trust, not only in other people around you, but also with the universe and with yourself, you're going to find that you're a lot more protected, but you're a lot more loved, and you're a lot more accepted than you thought you were. And that the past stories aren't always true, and they won't always be like that forever. I think there's this realization of, oh, there was nothing wrong with you. You were just asking the wrong people to change. There's a self-love coming to you, but there's also a greater love for people around you, a more intimate love, a love that is deeper than what you knew. Because once you're able to accept yourself, other people are able to accept you, and you're able to see where other people have been giving you love, but you just haven't been receiving it, or you haven't been able to see it because you've been so blinded from stories of the past. I think you're realizing that you are love, and because you are love, inherently you are deserving of love, and you deserve to give love. There's just a lot of self-discovery here in this pile, and acceptance of things that can't be changed, and excitement for the future. But let's go ahead and pull out the tarot. I hope this is resonating. If it is, feel free to give me a like or comment or subscribe. I would love to have you join the Mellow Yellow Tarot family. I've been asking all of the piles what the weather is currently where you live when you're watching this video. Currently it is nighttime, and I live in the northern hemisphere and it's winter, so it's very cold outside. And it's very dark outside, but I am filming at night, so that explains that. Okay, Spirit. How can Pile 3 integrate more practices to support their awakening? How can Pile 3 integrate more practices to support their awakening? I'll just take 4. Or all of those. Might as well. That's actually a lot. We'll see. Hold on. So we have, and I'm only taking uprights, we have the 2 of Pentacles, 8 of Cups, the High Priestess, Judgment, and the 10 of Wands. definitely messages of balance here. Where are you giving too much to other people but not being given to you in return? And vice versa. Where are people giving to you that you're not giving back? Are there reasons why you're not giving back? What are they? How can they be adjusted? Things like that. But also, are there conversations you need to be had with yourself surrounding what is actually in alignment with you versus what is a good distraction right now? I think there are things in your life that you're like, I don't know if this is necessarily for me, and it might be time to really get serious about evaluating that and evaluating what to do there. I think there's also just a message of walking away from what no longer serves you so that you can create room for greater enjoyment in your life. I think you've been holding on to things that don't make you happy because you're just like, well, that's what I've been told I have to do. That's what I've been told is good for all of humanity. But in actuality, if it's making you miserable, is it really making humanity happy? Because you're a part of that humanity. Is there a place that you have to go to every day that just absolutely drains you and makes you feel miserable? Is there a person in your life that you feel that you have to set a lot of boundaries with and you just are kind of tired of setting all the boundaries with and them not respecting you? Is that something that needs to be addressed? It's time to get serious about the things that are no longer working for you and to be brave enough to step onto a new path. And I feel like this High Priestess and Judgment kind of go hand in hand with this new path energy. Some people aren't going to be able to walk through the door that you are creating for yourself. And I think we, as like humans and people creatures, when people leave our life or when people can't keep up or when things just are working in a way to where we're kind of put in a hermit energy or where we're kind of lonely on a path, we can easily start to second guess ourselves and to think that, oh, maybe we made a wrong move, maybe Spirit is punishing us, but maybe this is just the calm before the storm. Maybe Spirit is giving you that time to reevaluate why you drew those people into your life and whether you wanted to attract that same kind of energy with you in the future. I think there needs to be this radical acceptance here of self and honoring that, you know, you are a good person, you're not doing anything wrong, and it's time to release the stress and the burdens that have been placed on you unnecessarily. You are only one person. You cannot do everything in the world. And I know sometimes we can easily get it in our head that we are capable of so much, and we are capable of so much. But it's also, do you need to put yourself in a position where you're doing this much if it's harming you, you know? Reevaluate how much stress is healthy stress versus what is unnecessary stress on you. Okay, pile 3. We are going to close out this reading with a little bit of the tea leaf oracles here. I'm gonna go ahead and do a little ASMR shuffle, because that's what I've been doing with all the piles. Maybe think of a question right now that you have on your mind. We're pulling 3. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. So, last closing advice. We have wind chimes. This says peace and harmony. Yeah, you guys deserve peace. You deserve room to breathe, and anything that is taking away from that needs to go. Then we have ant, work, achievement, and success. I think this is coming through just to pat you on the back and say, like, you are a hard worker. You do enough. And if there are people who don't recognize the hard work you do, screw them. You need to start honoring yourself with how hard you work. Okay, and then we have chair filled. Someone new is entering your life. interesting. So maybe I need to do a reading about that soon for everyone. But, okay, pile 3, this is all I have for you. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, feel free to give me a like, feel free to comment, feel free to subscribe. I've already said this, but most importantly, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope this reading resonated and helped you in some way. Without further ado, have a beautiful, blessed afternoon, good evening, good night, good morning, all of the fun things. Bye, pile 3. Alright, hello pile 4. Thanks so much for being here with me today for your reading. If you chose the sun, then that's how you know you made it to pile 4, and you are at the right reading. I'm gonna go ahead and take that tarot card away just for a second. I'm just putting it with the entire deck here, the Prisma Visions tarot deck that we are going to be using for your reading. I'm saving it until later because we're going to do the oracle cards first, and then we'll get into the tarot. Let's go ahead and get started and lay out your oracle cards. Of course, by the 4th pile, I can't talk, and my brain juice is a little fried, so just bear with me, pile 4. So, for your first 2 cards, these are going to represent your current light energy and your current shadow energy. So for your light energy, we have the bee. Very cute. Busy, busy bees. Busy bees in this pile. And then for your shadow energy, we have the raccoon. Very dramatically different energies here, pile 4. Oh my gosh, we're going to see what's going on. This card is going to represent a truth inside you that is ready to be accepted. And this is self-love. Wow. How beautiful. Self-love. I don't know if any of these are focusing, in all honesty, but self-love. And then this card is going to represent why you might be a little hesitant to accept this truth of self-love. And we have elderflower with rebirth, joy, and rest. Gonna fix the cards a million times before I'm actually happy. I just know it. And then this card is going to represent what your life can look like if you accept this truth. And we have embodiment number 8, and this says, now unsown from the flesh, a most alluring lullaby stills my pain as the skies bleed for my heart and the embodiment I am to claim. And it's an older woman with her hair blowing in the wind, and she's playing with a bee. Isn't that fun? Okay, pile 4. Let's digest this. Why don't we? So obviously your current light and shadow energies are vastly different, but I can kind of understand now why they are represented as they are. I feel like when people experience you, and I say experience because you've really become a pleasure to the senses, you are a great person to be around, people kind of flock to you at this point. You're sweet, you know, I'm just being shown honey oozing. I feel like people are just drawn to you. You smell really good, you're kind, you're gracious, you are a pleasure to speak to. I feel like people just love talking to you, being around your presence. They know it's going to be a good day when they get to interact with you. Some of you guys could be very popular creatives or in the public eye, or that's something that you're striving for. There is a sort of creative element to this pile, so if you don't have a creative project in mind or something that you're working on, you guys just have a very creative way of expressing yourself or putting a very unique spin on anything that you do. It's like a signature. Your essence is a signature on anything that you take part in, and people just want to have you around to have that unique flair on their work because they want you to kind of like rub off on them. But I feel like this is a point in your life where you're kind of breaking out of a previous shell that was kind of given to you or that people named. Like maybe you came into some fame, or maybe your work got recognized and you're kind of on not like a high horse right now, but life is good right now. Maybe, you know, you're being recognized, you're put on a pedestal a bit. But I feel like illusions around you are kind of not being shattered, but you're gently peeking back behind the curtain and you're realizing there are parts of yourself that have been named but not by you. And you're recognizing where people have projected who you are onto you and where you might have taken that projection in and internalized it. And now you're kind of wanting to expand. Maybe, say you're a singer, maybe you've always done EDM, but now you want to do a super like lyrical ballad song, you know? And you're really nervous to put that out into the world because you've always kind of stuck to the tried and true methods and you've kind of been told what works in your style, but this is completely out of the scope of what people think about when they think of you, and you're scared and nervous to put that out there. But I think clearly because the truth inside of you is self-love that needs to be accepted and discovered right now. It's like it does no one any good for you to hold these truths back inside of you. This could be the song of the century, and you're scared of putting it out because you've always made EDM music, you know? You need to have courage and faith inside of yourself that what you create is what's important. The fact that it's coming from you is why people celebrate you, not because it fits into a certain style or a genre. People are attracted to you because you think outside of the box, because you have that uniqueness and you're not afraid to share it. And I think it would be even more on brand for you to expand outside of your comfort zone and to show people that you can switch genres or you can do more than the box people put you in. And I think it's so tempting to stay in a box and to stay in what you know works, but just imagine how much more successful you can be once you say, oh yeah, I made this successful genre flip, or oh yeah, I did what people said is impossible. I made EDM music and now I'm a classical composer, or I do musical theater, you know? Like, the only limits are the ones you put on yourself. You are constantly capable and able to go out and bring newness to the world and to do things that no one has ever seen. You just have to recognize that you are the prize here. It's you who is doing it. It doesn't matter what you do. It's you who is doing it. And that's why it's perfect just the way it is. I think the reason you've been hesitant to accepting this part of yourself and practicing deeper self-love is this fear that maybe people won't like this new you, this rebirthed you. This person who makes you happy might not make other people happy, and that's where we have to kind of check our people-pleasing tendencies, because guess what? We're not alive to please other people. I know that's like a big revelation for us people-pleasers, but guess what? It is not our responsibility to make other people happy. And I feel like this is especially a call out to artists out there, because I feel like we get stuck in this hole where we want to give people feeling, where we want them to have a voice, and we almost give up our voice in order to let the consumers feel more seen and more heard through us. I feel like that's a tendency for a lot of people who are creative or who collaborate, whether that be, you know, producing music and collaborating with people who listen, like, you know what I mean. We almost get trained that it doesn't matter what we like, it matters what tops the charts, or it matters what gets us the next listen. And that's not truly what matters at the end of the day. At the end of the day is, do you enjoy what you're producing? And are you proud of what you're producing? Are you leaving the world... Yeah, thank you, Cricket. Are you leaving the world in a better place than when you found it? You know, that's what's important. And I think you've internalized these truths, but you're scared of how the world will react around you. And that's totally understandable, because the world can be cruel and judgmental and mean and all of the things. I could keep using adjectives, but I don't think that's helpful. I think you understand what I'm putting down, and Cricket is trying to join us here. Hi, baby. Come on. And the worst thing that can happen is your worst fear, you know? That's definitely an option. Does it help to focus on that and to keep things hidden if the worst option happens? No. Like, that doesn't help anyone. If something is going to happen, it's going to happen. And you have no control over that. And I know that's so hard to hear, especially as people pleasers. We want to be able to control everything and just to make everything happy and peaceful and make everyone happy. But that's not how the world works, unfortunately. And it's time to embody who you are in all facets and to be comfortable with the fact that, yeah, there might be some people who are uncomfortable with who you become, but that's okay because maybe they weren't meant to stick around the entire time. You are constantly evolving and changing, and love is a choice. Love is a choice to stick by and to be loyal and to be around those who fill our cup. And you can't always fill other people's cup, and other people can't always fill your cup. But you can be the factor there that provides constant self-love for yourself, and you no longer have to self-sacrifice for people. It's time to put yourself first and to realize that who you are is good all along. It doesn't matter what other people think because your inherent worth comes from you being here put on earth and you existing, you breathing. You are inherently worthy of love, of success. Society are the ones who like to put people in boxes and pretend that you can only reach certain heights if you do X, Y, and Z, and that's just simply not true. And you're allowed to go outside the box and show people that it's not true, and to break barriers, and to be the first. But it starts with you accepting that maybe you want to be different. Maybe you're not like everyone else, and that's okay. Because I think with how your life can look, we have embodiment, and I think this is just so beautiful. I'm being shown that TikTok filter that takes you from how you look now to like slowly aging over the course of your life. And I think you're going to be falling in love with life and living. The good and the bad. I think you're going to be developing this acceptance that even when times are bad, you still have your back, and even when times are great, you have your back, and life can be enjoyable through all the ups and downs. And all emotions are valid, and all emotions lead you to greater understanding and greater awareness of your soul and who you truly are and how you fit into this universe. The more you go through, the more you can relate to other people, and vice versa. Things are going to be able to make a lot more sense for you once you have this rock hard, rock solid sense of self inside. Because when people try and project like, oh, you're mean, or oh, you're this, you're gonna be able to be like, no, I'm not. Like, sorry it came out that way, but it's funny because I think you're developing this sense of self that is unshakable, that inspires other people to be who they are radically, and to spread love, and to be kind. I think that's a big message here, is the kinder you are to yourself, the kinder you are to the world, which then creates a kinder world. And I think you want to be a part of the people who are here to change that, and who are here to welcome in greater awareness into everyday life. But, okay, pile 4, if that resonates, let's go ahead and get into your tarot. So what I've been doing for all of the groups, I've been taking the guidebook for these cards, and I've been going to the page that coincides with them. Let's see where we are. Self-love, 142. Highly recommend these decks. I will have them linked down below, of course. Self-love, and then I've been finding the question that goes along with each card, and I've been asking that to tarot. And your question is, how can I luxuriate in my own self-care more? So, that will be our question for you. Let me grab the tarot, and then we'll do a couple shuffles, do some tarot, and then we will pull your final closing advice / message cards with the Tea Leaf Oracle. I hope you're having a great day. I've been asking all the piles what the weather is like. where you're at currently. I'm in the northern hemisphere, and it is currently winter, and it is nighttime here, so it is cold as cold can get. Okay, how can pile 4 luxuriate in their own self-care more? Okay, I'm gonna take that. I'm just gonna take that. It's been a lot of spitting today. The decks have been spitting, so, and I'm only taking uprights. So we've got the 4 of Swords. I just heard forgiveness. We've got 7 of Cups. We have the Devil and the Hierophant. Okay. Definitely some energy here of forgiving people for not knowing better and for treating you wrong in the past. I think you hold on to a lot of people's actions towards you as if it's a reflection of who you are. And I think it's time to release that energy and to understand that other people's actions are a full reflection of where they're at in that time of their life and what's going on. And sometimes you just happen to be the person close by. Does that make their actions and how they treat you right? Absolutely not. And you should have the self-respect to be able to differentiate what you deserve versus, what you're able to tolerate. But I think there needs to be this radical self-acceptance of I did nothing wrong. I don't deserve people's shitty behavior because I don't treat people shittily. And if I do, I own up to it and I say I'm sorry. And there's just this sense of you didn't deserve people's bad behavior towards you, and you don't have to hold on to that anymore. And I think with the 7 of Cups here, I think this is talking about loving yourself enough to be able to explore into different parts of who you are and to explore with your looks. Maybe you've always been very neat and tidy with your appearance and now you just want to get very messy and hippie and goth. Who knows? I don't want to label things as messy, but society has told you to be one way and now you want to experience something new. And I think Spirit is coming through to give you the grace and to say that it's okay to experiment. And society will say what they want because it's society. Society will always have something to say. I kid you not, you cannot escape that ever. But I think Spirit just wants you to understand that there is nothing wrong with experimenting, and it's supposed to be a journey to find who you are and to get to the end goal. What would be the fun of life if we all just knew exactly who we were and we were given exactly what we came here to do? That would be no fun. No one would learn anything. Are you kidding me? That's not what Earth is here for. We're here to learn and to experience. And I think what I'm being shown with this Devil card is it's okay to be in the trenches. And what do I mean by that? I mean, it's okay to be snot-nosed, sobbing sometimes. It's okay to be real about how unfair life is and how cruel and mean things are. Sometimes us sensitive beings, sometimes we just need to cry it out and to go to the mountains and scream. Honor yourself for all the feelings you have, even the quote-unquote ugly ones. There are no ugly emotions, and that's just something we've been conditioned to believe by society because all humans have emotions. We all share the same emotions, just some people are comfortable showing them, and that doesn't make them right or wrong. I'm so tired. If you have this feeling inside of you that you're gonna explode and you just need to go scream and sob it out and not hurt anything, but just go scream and sob it out, go do that, because that's the thing that's keeping you from not hurting anything, There's a reason we have emotions. It's how our body regulates ourselves. There's no need to shame yourself for being more sensitive or for needing to cry more often than other people, because guess what? Those people who are holding in all of their tears and not doing anything about it, they're going to be the one in 10 years who have no sense of self-regulation, who are going to be the ones screaming at people in the McDonald's drive-thru. Okay? Do you want to be the person who screams at people in the McDonald's drive-thru? No. So cry. That is your quote of the day. And I can say that because I worked at McDonald's, I worked drive-thru a lot, and I got screamed at a lot. And I can tell you all those folks had no capabilities of emotional regulation. And the only way you can form emotional regulation is by trial and error and practice. And sometimes that's ugly, but have room and compassion for yourself. And the other thing I think with Hierophant here is like, you are doing great with your spiritual practices, and I think honoring your spiritual practices more could even develop even more self-love for you, for yourself. Honoring the beliefs you have, honoring the magic you have still alive in you. There's going to be a lot of people in this world who want to beat the magic out of you, who want you to believe that there's nothing happy and frivolous about life. It's all doom and gloom. And sometimes they can be very, very, very convincing. But at the end of the day, I think you know deep down in your soul, you're the type who believes in these things. You're the type who believes in magic because you've seen it happen, and you are magic, and everyone is magic. And it's okay to believe that. There's nothing wrong with you, Pile 4. You are perfect just the way you are. Okay. Since our battery is flashing at me, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up your reading. We're going to do some tea leaf oracles. I'm just going to do 3 pulls, and I've been shuffling next to the mic as like makeshift ASMR. I don't even know if this sounds good. It probably sounds horrible. But think of a question or anything. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, and there we go. Okay. So, we have handshake. A meeting with a stranger could be important. Yeah, keep that magic alive. You never know what could happen tomorrow, today, and the next hour. Life can change on a dime. Flute, disappointment in a friend or lover. Okay, interesting. So yeah, maybe you will be disappointed in someone coming up, but that's just even more practice that you get to be like, this is not about me, this is a reflection of them and their life and where they want to go with life. But I need to have self-compassion and self-respect and understand that I am lovely just the way that I am. Then we have dark woman, dealings or relationship with a woman with dark complexion or hair. This could be this flute person that we're talking about, but okay, Pile 4, I'm going to go ahead and leave this reading here. If you resonated with this reading, feel free to give me a like, a comment, or subscribe. All 3 or none of them. I can't force you to do anything, and I would never force you to do anything. But I just want to say thanks so much for letting me read your cards. I had so much fun here today. It was a long filming day. This is definitely going to be a longer reading for all of the piles, but I hope it's worth it. I hope you appreciate this reading. And I hope you have a wonderful day, life, and spiritual ascendingness. I don't know. Okay. Have a wonderful day, Pile 4. Bye, guys.